Welcome to this week's edition of Mainely Motorsports. And
are you okay?
yeah, no, it's been, I'll tell you, you've been through one, Jeffrey. I don't know how many years ago. You got Lindsay coming next year. No matter how much work any parent puts into preparing themselves for graduation, it still rips at you. And like I said, I don't know if you saw our Facebook post that I put on this week, and I don't know the exact words I started off as, but why is it the things that are so rewarding or the great things in life sometimes are the toughest to handle? And, you know, as I watched, you know, Alicia walk into the Civic Center and go through that whole process, and, you know, I don't even think of just myself. I think of every parent in there, you know, and grandparent, and how much, I mean, look at me, I'm tearing up now. I mean, like, I'm so emotional over the whole process. And, you know, my hat's off to every parent, grandparent that's ever experienced, because that was my first time. And I don't know. You know, everybody talks about funerals being hard, and, you know, probably the hardest thing I've ever dealt with in my entire life was that.
It's one of those life cycles that indicates that our kids are growing up, and it's one of those things where you start to realize that eventually the cord's going to be cut a little bit, and they're going to go on their way and make their own path in life. I went through it with Jeff when he graduated from Thornton Academy. It was emotional. I think next year will be much more emotional. I think it's different when it's your little girl,
Your youngest,
and your post on Facebook was really, really good. And I know you've taken a little bit of ribbing for it, but
you know what's funny though?
I thought it was awesome.
No, I really didn't. You know, it was funny because I did it because as I sat here and I thought about everything that was going through me, you know, thinking about that, and you know, and we as parents, okay. You have Jeff and Lindsay, I have Andrea and Alicia, and everybody has their children. You know, you do all you can do, but you can't be there for everything. You can't coach them. You can't teach them dance. You can't teach them school. And I think, you know, as I sat in the studio here and I reflected on 17 plus years of that, you know, the upbringing of where she was, things we've been through. You know, I compare it to a couple years ago when she got her license, you know, and I'm talking to, you know, my friend Perv, and we're talking. Perv's like, what do you mean she got her license? We just built her Bobby Jeep. We just finished her Bobby Jeep, put the stickers on it, and she was driving her sister around the yard. I go, yeah, now they're gone to Marshall's. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know. And listen, my hat's off to every parent, grandparent, person out there that played a part in any child's life, upbringing, because they do. Might have been a coach that coached them 1 year, but he had or she had an influence on your child. And I think that's what my Facebook post was really, you know, I just, you know, you look back at every person your child has come in contact with, and you know, obviously some have made a negative influence. You know what I mean? Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't know.
I go, they've made a negative.
Do you have a bad influence?
I haven't made a You saw the McKay boys. Did I make a positive influence on them?
We'll talk
hilarious.
about this.
But no, and it's just crazy. And then, you know, the whole Civic Center thing, and you know, and as I'm trying to bask in the glow and take it all in for myself, I'm looking around at people I don't even know, wondering what's going through them. And you know, we had senior night, and you know, the awards, getting the awards, and you know, back in 1993, I raced Limited Sportsman, then we raced Super Sportsman the next year, and I had a friend of mine, Mark, and his wife, Sherry Poitras. There was them, me, and Leanne every week at the races, and they were helped in the car. Well, they had a son that, you know, the same. They had one already born, but then they had one the same age as Alicia, and he graduated. And you know, he was that kid that, you know, seemed like every other award he was getting and scholarship, you know. And I'm sitting there just thinking, and I'm proud of mine, and mine's just sitting there making noise in the background, making faces. You know, she's being me. She ain't getting nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this kid's getting everything. So I'm saying, you know, how, you know, just how proud they must be, and how they should be proud of themselves. And that's, you know, and also as parents, you know, out there, you have a child graduating or a grandchild, you know, you need to almost pat yourself on the back, because it's a lot of work to get them to that point. And, you know, sleepless nights, and, when they're sick, and then all of that, and prodding them to go to school, because we all go through that. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do homework, and I remember, doing those projects and saying to myself, oh my God, we got to go do a project again. But then I had a little different thing is, there's going to be days where I kill to do that project, whereas I want to help. And, in the last, you get into high school and stuff, you're not a part of it. You're watching from afar. And, wow, what a day. And I got one more, because this weekend she's got her final dance recital, dancing her senior solo.
You're kind of getting double whacked because of the dance thing. And
I shouldn't have to deal with this. I shouldn't have to deal with this.
Well, it'll be good practice for your next one.
And it's funny, we followed along with guys like Chase Elliott and Eric Jones when they have to graduate, and we got a little flavor of that going on right here in the state. John Peters, off his career best finish last week in the Pro Series of Beech Ridge, is going to miss, or did miss this past weekend's race because of graduation.
Yeah, and you know what? Good for him.
And so happy. I'm not happy about missing the race, but so happy about graduating. And I talked to him at Bentley's, and we talked about, he's like, it kind of ends my year, but you know what? I got plenty of racing. I go, it doesn't, because everybody's going to get their mulligan. The only difference, your mulligan isn't going to cost you a dime. Other mulligans are going to cost them motors, snouts, bodies, when they have their bad night.
Right.
Yeah, that was, to miss what you love doing, but to be there with your classmates, and I know he's one of the top 10, or, he's...
I think he was, fourth in his class, and racing will always be there, but you'll only have one high school
graduation. Imagine
graduation.
being fourth in your class.
I maybe might know what it's like to be fourth from the bottom in my class, but fourth from... Isn't it like one of them dictorian things or whatever? Does he have a title? Valedictorian or... Salutatorian or janitorian? I don't know what they do.
But no, congratulations to Johnny. And anybody...
He's a smart kid.
Anybody that's got a child or a grandchild or a niece or a nephew or a friend, congratulations to all of you that are graduating this year and last year and next year. I mean, it's, I've talked about it for years, and I've dealt with other people and talked to them as they've had graduation, but it's one of those things, until you experience it, you can't even prepare yourself. And, we had senior night, and we just talked about John. I joke about, is he getting his diploma at the racetrack? He's going to be his graduation. Well, at senior night last week, we were at the high school, and they actually did present a young man with his diploma, because he's going to represent the entire state of Maine in that. And they had a big word for it, but I call it fix the car challenge when they do that at the vocationals. And he and his teammate, who's from Bonnie Eagle, won the challenge. So he has to fly out to Detroit on Sunday. So couldn't fly out at Detroit and have graduation, which was Sunday afternoon. So they presented him with his diploma. His family was there, and I'll tell you, just to see that was the most chilling thing, So I knew what I was in for come Sunday.
It's good to see the hard work pay off for the kids, and that's a totally legitimate reason to be excused from graduation, and good for him. He'll go on and do great things in his field, but kids, you just hope you've pointed them all in the right direction, and I hope that all the graduating kids out there look upon this as a great achievement. Look upon it as a reward of all your hard work. Don't take it for granted. Enjoy every minute of it. And parents, the same thing. It's tough for us. Like I said, it's all part of growing up. But I think kids just really need to take a look and understand exactly what they've accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that we've got graduation out of the way, and I got one more emotional weekend and all that, but no, we're really excited. We had a great week. When I come back, I want to talk about last week's show, because a lot of feedback about frickin' frack. Yeah.
Boy, it was like a miniature comedy hour.
Oh, I know it. But so no, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
Fast Laps Raceway is Maine's premier slot car facility. 641 Lakes Region Commons Drive in North Windham. Whether you want to try out the rentals or have your own custom car built, Fast Laps Raceway can make a racer out of anyone. Birthday parties at Fast Laps are always a hit. If you have ever wanted a fun, inexpensive way to get involved in the sport of racing, Fast Laps Raceway gives you that chance. Find Fast Laps on Facebook or call 207-229-1575. Fast Laps Raceway. Raceway.
Not sure what brand tire to buy? Town Fair Tire has them all. Michelin, Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli, Toyo, Yokohama, Hankook, and more. No matter what size or brand, Town Fair Tire beats all the competition, even online prices. We'll also do a free front wheel alignment with any tire purchase. Name brand tires, the lowest prices, free alignment. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems. Even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 9 locations in Maine.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Bentley Saloon, Route 1 in Arundel. Stop by and see why me and my friends say, who has more fun than us? We do.
LKQ Core. Any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham. Southern Maine Motors. Out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership. Route 1 Saco.
Well, Dan Walker, the only question I have for you, are you the pitcher or the catcher? Well,
I'm not sure we'll
we
go
got
with that, but
we got a big baseball game.
I'm definitely in, and I look forward to that. That'll be a good time. But you know, there's one member of us that has kind of allegiances to both sides, so we can't let him bail out and pull any of this. I'm going to remain neutral. I'll get the water for you guys stuff, and you know who I'm talking about. He's got to get in there and play too.
He's going to go longevity.
Yeah.
So he's going to Team Naughty.
Yeah, and I want to see him on the field.
Oh, he'll be on the field.
Spectating.
He'll be on the field. So we got to get the logistics down as far as we playing wiffle ball. Somebody said softball, but softball's hurt. Then people have to have gloves. So I talked about tennis ball with real bats, you know, because you can hit it farther. So we'll probably just end up with a wiffle ball, maybe.
It'll probably depend on what we have for a field to use. I mean,
Well,
you got to be careful of roads and streets and.
Oh yeah, so we don't want kids chasing balls across the street.
So.
But yeah, no, that's actually, and we'll keep the viewers posted. But you know how they were just so much fun.
Yeah, that went exactly about how I expected. Sean and Daniel, they just have tremendous personalities and they feed off each other. But it's so good, and I think you mentioned it on the show. It's so good to see brothers as close as they are and have the rapport that they have with each other. And just, you know, I'm sure not every moment is, you know, rosy, but it's just good to see that relationship that they have. But boy, they are fun kids, funny kids, and
I had to go off that because remember that was the part where they had the part 2 of their question was about me and Brick being twins.
And I learned something from that. I didn't realize that you and Brick were twins.
No, me and Brick are not twins.
Are you sure?
I am pretty.
I saw it on the internet, so it has to be true.
No. That was Emerson.
Oh.
But Emerson got his due, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we talked a lot about him, huh? Mentioned his name.
Twice, and I thought the microphones went off.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Greg. But no, it was a good time, and I've had so much fun with these kids segments, you know, because they're all different. You know, some kids are chatterboxes, other kids you got to pull stuff out of. They're all at different levels. They all have different hopes and dreams when it comes to the sport, and you know, and it's neat to hear things that they like to do other than race. You know.
Yeah, it's just like race car drivers. Some of them like to talk more than others, but yeah, the kids segment is becoming extremely popular. It's really neat.
Yeah. So we're gonna go through the end of June, and we caught up with some kids for this week's show that we'll have a coming up segment over at the Saco Pathfinders, and you know, that little dirt go-kart track has really allowed some kids that maybe wouldn't have got their feet wet into the go-kart to do that. You know, you know, kind of like have some fun with it, and you know, without the parents putting a lot of effort in, a lot of money, and yeah, and you know, the boys have been and done that. Tucker Cole we had on a few weeks. That's where you know he does. So yeah, a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, we're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk about Bentleys.
Oh yes, that was
Your first trip, maiden voyage.
It won't be the last.
No. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back to talk about Bentleys.
Looking for something different and exciting to do on Friday night? How about real NASCAR racing at Lee USA Speedway, featuring the ground-pounding, super-fast, super-modifieds, the fender-rubbing late model sportsman, unpredictable hobby stocks, and more. It's great family fun and excitement. Kids under 12 get in free, and there's acres of free and easy parking. Friday nights at Lee USA Speedway, located right on Route 125 in Lee, New Hampshire. Check LeeUSASpeedway.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wolf.
And I'm Dan Wolf. We've been selling and servicing vehicles on Route 25 in Gorham since 1972.
Wolf Auto Service offers state inspections, tires, brakes, and suspension.
21st Century Motors has a great selection of cars and trucks starting at $29.99.
With no mortgage and low overhead, we sell and service at guaranteed lowest prices.
We're just 6 miles west of Turnpike, exit 47 on Route 25 in Gorham. Online at 21stcenturymaine.com.
For a trusted name in residential and commercial site work in the southern Maine area, call Peter Pettit Excavating. We can handle everything from the complete house lot to those nasty water and sewer line repairs. Septic systems are another area that we specialize in. During the snow season, Pettit Excavating has the equipment to handle any size job.
And when the race season arrives, be sure to follow the number 7 Hewitt's Family Restaurant Chevrolet on the past Super Late Model Tour.
Call 207-282-9305 to get the job done right. That's Peter Pettit Excavating.
Well, welcome back to Mainly Motorsports. And this past Wednesday, last week, a week ago tonight, Dan Walker made his maiden voyage to Bentley Saloon. And was it all you thought it would be?
Well, it was more than everybody had told me that was. I mean, the atmosphere in the place is just incredible. What a fun place. You can just tell, even before it got really busy, it's just a fun place, and I can't wait to go back. I mean, I was told that Sunday afternoons are good for hanging out there and just watch the people come in and out, and Fridays and Saturdays it's all good, and just a cool place. Lots of Bentley Warren's racing memorabilia throughout the place, and a real bizarre looking pig that everybody wanted to try to get me on, but
you know what? What have we been lacking this year? What have we took a break from and we haven't refired back up?
Dinners.
Mainly Motorsports dinners.
Yeah, we should have one there.
So when we kick back off, which we're going to have to do soon.
It's usually this time of year, isn't it?
Yep, we'll kick it off. We'll go to Bentley's. We'll try to figure out a night, invite as many people as want to come down and enjoy us and try the food, because the food is excellent.
Well, Wednesday's karaoke night down there. Maybe we could get someone to sing in our group.
Oh, I'm sure we could get somebody to sing.
Oh, yeah. But
yeah, so let's plan within the next couple of weeks. We'll announce it on the show, and we'll go down there to Bentley's, and I'll make sure Bentley's around, so a lot of people that haven't met Bentley will get a chance to meet, one of the, long-time greats in motorsports up here.
Just a great guy, and you can tell that he is just having the time of his life with that place, and just to look back at some of the memorabilia he's got in there, some of his motorcycles, and some of the people that were in attendance that I hadn't seen in years. It was just a great night, and if you haven't been to the all-era car show in the past, mark it on the calendar for next year for sure.
Oh yeah, no, and the thing that I love, you saw some of the new stars, you saw some Pro Series cars. You and was it Derek that brought down your
Justin?
Justin brought down the your Thursday Thunder cars, and and there was some stuff from Lee. They brought a nice display. Vintage guys with the trailer and all that. But the people that you see walking around, stars of today, stars of yesteryear, and I think I've seen McCabe there all the time. He's a staple at it. But Joe Bessie.
Yeah, I came out, was getting ready to go home, and I come out, and there's Dick McCabe, Bob Randall, and Joe Bessie standing there talking. You were there, wound up staying about another hour just listening to them guys, and I hadn't seen Joe Bessie in probably 10 years, maybe even longer. But
yeah, I did a piece with Joe a few years ago up at Rangeley when he had the snowmobile shop, and it was pretty neat. And and then I talked to McCabe every time we see him there, and then Bob Randall. I mean, they're all our era, but Randall, more because we were at Beach Ridge, and he was running Beach Ridge.
Yeah, and Mike Johnson.
Yeah, Mike Johnson
Dick
walking
Bergman
around.
was there. Yeah.
Les Thomas. I told
Les Thomas,
and it was funny. How many people know the last race that Dick McCabe drove was for Les Thomas?
Yeah.
The power team looking number 60 at Beach Ridge.
Yeah,
Pro Series 100 lap race.
That's right. It's true, yeah.
I pointed it out to them. They were shocked that I remembered.
Yeah.
And I said, with 5 to go, Bubba caught you to lap you, and you found another gear. It's like you weren't getting lapped, and he didn't. Bubba wasn't able to lap him. McCabe used up some track and found some more speed. But, yeah, to the stories that are there. Dr. Dick Bergman, and a lot of people were happy to see him. He got to talk about the museum. And, you know, but that's every event that goes on down there. Lisa, you know, Bentley's there to kind of put his thumbprint on it, but Lisa, who's Bentley's girlfriend and manages the whole establishment, is really thorough and pays attention to detail when it comes to all of that.
Yeah, they do a great job. I mean, just being there for the first time, I mean, they make you feel welcome. They just, the whole atmosphere, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just a really fun time. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what we have to plan, Mainely Motorsports night down there.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
You know, come in on a bike, come in on your car, it doesn't matter. And like you said, and for the women, bring an extra bra, right?
Right, they can decorate the rafters there. I had heard that there was a few hanging from there. I didn't realize that was a few hundred, in all shapes and sizes and colors. And
did Sue leave one?
I don't believe she did. But looking at the rafters, though, it makes you wonder. You know, those people, you know, going home. Hopefully, they didn't get pulled over and stuff. Or maybe it would help get out of a ticket. I don't know.
Or hopefully the husband was with him, right?
Oh,
What do you do?
well,
You come home and you don't have a bra.
Well, yeah, that would be tough to explain.
Yeah,
I left it on the rafters at Bentley's.
Yeah.
Sure you did.
Yeah, no, so really a good time. And I really want to thank all the teams that participated. And because it is, on a Wednesday, it's hard bringing stuff, you know, getting out of work. I mean, like you, and, you know, we got to get out of work and get down there. But a lot of teams, and each year it continues to grow. And I heard from quite a few people, you know, probably another half a dozen teams that had plans, but they had graduation things going on, or you know, something screwed up at work, or they watched the weather at the beginning of the week and said, well, I don't really need to worry about my car because, you know, so they needed to have the car as shop night. But no, it really worked out well, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, they had even the Cuda Marsh number 61 there, the one that looked like the Troyer modified, and I was joking with Bobby Turner. I said, boy, I used to love to watch that car race. And, you know, I knew that he drove the car and won a lot of races. And I said, yeah, geez, Larry Tangway was really good. And he gave me a look. And
yeah, you know, and then we saw some drag cars, we saw some go-karts.
That burnout with the drag car. Yeah, that was just something for everybody.
So literally mark your calendar for next year. It's always the first Wednesday in June. And, yeah, each year it grows and grows and grows. So we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and I'm going to have some kids. Got to love the kids.
Oh, becoming one of my favorite segments.
Welcome to Mainly Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainly Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
I did not grow up in the car business. I started as a technician in a small garage, and now lucky enough to own my own dealership. I think buying a new car should be hassle-free with pricing up front. We like to negotiate with everyone the same way. Our goal is for our customers to feel good and make it easy and quick if they so desire. We pay our sales staff to help satisfy your needs, not to collect a traditional commission.
Southern Maine Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Maine's only Viper dealer, Route 1, Saco.
Award season event is going on now.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
Legendary race car driver Bentley Warren is putting Arundel on the map. When Bentley's Saloon opened in 2004, it was just a little bar room on the side of the road. Today we have a giant saloon with live music, dancing, and great food and drink indoors and out. We're always looking to meet new friends and have a good old time. There's always something exciting going on at Bentley's. That's why we like to say, who has more fun than us? We do!
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 7 convenient locations. Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, Portland, Sanford, Lewiston, and now South Portland. Visit us at moodyscollision.com.
Scotch Recreation. Whether you're thinking about your first camper or looking to upgrade your current one, Scotch Recreation can help you. Get both our Route 202 Manchester and our Route 4 Turner locations and online at scotchrecreation.com.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Join us for our 25th anniversary year.
Okay, welcome back to Mainely Motorsports. We have Wade Kennedy here, and I want to share with you people, this poor man was in a terrible, terrible motorcycle accident. He actually hit a deer. Wade, how big a deer was that?
It was a pretty big deal. I was on the way to school one morning. Second day I drove the street bike to school. Been down the road every day for 4 years, and then second day I drive a street bike. I hit a pregnant doe, go over the handlebars. I flew off, bike hit the trees. I slid 200 feet into a telephone thing, and then broke a bunch of bones, broke my hip, had 2 major surgeries, my elbow and my hip. I have 10 screws, 2 plates in my elbow, and 12 screws, 2 plates in my hip.
Wow, that was awesome. And, you know, thank God you're healing up. Anyways, your father's racing the 00 here tonight, so we're really glad to see Jason Kennedy behind the wheel of 00. And, you know, we can't wait to see you back. You're an awesome driver, and the Top Gun that supports you, they do an awesome job, too. Okay? Thank you, buddy. Okay, here we are with Blake Berry, the driver of number 12. How old are you, Blake?
12.
12? Wow. And tell me something. How did you get involved in racing?
Well, my dad used to race karts, and I wanted to race karts. So I practiced with his old kart, and eventually he bought me a new one, and then that's when it all started.
Awesome. So you really enjoy karting, don't you?
Yeah.
And you certainly got a good team that backs you up, right?
Yep.
And what grade are you in school?
6th.
6th grade, wow. Where are you going to be in 5 years when it has to do with racing, or 10 years, do you know?
I might be on Saturday nights, probably.
Yeah.
And maybe race pro stocks or limiteds or wildcats, I don't know.
You think you can find somebody to build a car for you?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
My dad.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. Good luck in the future, okay? Thank you. Okay, here we are with Chase Rogers. Chase, you're doing a phenomenal job of racing tonight. How old are you?
9.
9. And how do you like racing here at Saco in this beautiful kart? You like it a lot, I can tell just by watching you race out there. And what do you think you might be doing 5 years down the road?
Drag racing?
Drag racing. Wow, that's great. Does Mom and Dad know about that yet?
No.
No? Well, I guess they do now, right?
I think so.
Well, anyways, congratulations to you. You're doing a phenomenal job here at the Saco Raceway, and good luck in the future, okay?
Okay.
Tana McDoodle, so nice to see you here tonight, and you're doing an awesome job. How old are you?
I'm 14 years old.
How did you get involved in racing?
I saw my older brother Connor start racing, and I got interested, and I said, let's jump on the bandwagon at McDougall Racing. So I was like, Dad, let's get a go-kart, and let's head up to Saco, Maine, and do some racing.
And you've done a phenomenal job, you know. How old are you?
14.
14, wow, that's awesome. But anyways, good luck in the feature event here tonight, okay?
Thank you very much.
And anyways, and there's your brother over there. He's quite a driver and got quite a history of driving, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I look up to him and look for advice out of him. So, yeah, I thank him a lot and everybody that helps me out on my kart.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you. Yep.
Remember when you picked up a car key at the local hardware store? Then they said the car dealer was your only choice. Now there's eKeys for Cars, the fast, affordable solution to your car key and remote needs. Spare or a repair, you'll be serviced by eKeys trained technicians while you wait. And yes, eKeys still handles emergencies. But why wait? eKeys for Cars. Trust them with all your car key related needs.
They raise the bar. eKeys for Cars.
Want to learn how to ride? Lohr Motorcycle Education can help make that happen. Whether you rode years ago or have never touched a motorcycle, Lohr rider coaches can teach you the correct technique in a safe learning environment.
With 2 ranges to choose from, Lohr has a range near you in southern Maine, Topsom, and our new range in Biddeford.
Call 207-391-0094 or visit us at the web at www.loremotorcycleeducation.com. Warm weather is here, so let's ride.
25 years of firsts.
Rusty Wallace, the first ever Winston Cup race winner in New England.
The chase for the Nextel Cup is underway.
25 years of monumental victories.
Jeff Gordon's third win in New Hampshire. Ernie Irvin, he's back in victory lane.
You don't have goosebumps now, you don't have feelings.
25 years of in-your-face excitement.
Oh, Robbie Contact got into the back of Jeff Gordon.
Buy your tickets now for the New Hampshire 301.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and you know something that we've dealt with up here with tracks changing ownerships, being down like Unity, Wiscasset, and coming back to life. They just witnessed over there at over by Berlin, Groveton, Riverside Speedway. Now it's called Speedway 51 in memory of Joey Leclerc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, young Joey. They opened up there last week, a week before, with the Actor, and it looked like it was a packed house.
I was following along. I wasn't in attendance, but I was following along on Facebook and places, and I saw where there were a lot of volunteers over there doing work practically right up until the day of the race, painting or whatever, and I heard nothing but good reports. I heard the atmosphere was great, the place looked great, the support was great, the crowd was awesome. So, you know, the Leclerc family put a lot of risk into buying a racetrack. It's always a risky business, but boy, they sure got off on the right foot, it sounds like.
No, and it's good because you know you put that effort in, and you want the people to come out. And I know you know the Actor was there. I know the Granite State Pro Stock Series comes up July 4th. I think planning on being there for that. So be a nice trip back to the track that you know I haven't been to in 8 or 10 years. So I mean, there's a lot. Everybody, you know, upcoming this weekend, for example, up to Wiscasset, Ames True Value Night. Neiman Lights, Neiman Midgets. Huge crowd last year. Those guys love it. It was probably their biggest car count for the whole track last year was the night the Lights and the Midgets were there. I remember talking to Ken Minot as well as some of the people that work with NEMA. You know, the T-shirts and everything sold. I mean, the crowd, I mean, those things are just super fast. And then when you go on Maine's fastest oval, you know.
Well, yeah, the midgets are quick anyways. When you put them on a track with some banking like Wiscasset has, there's probably not a lot of lift of those.
You know, and then cars. Over at Beechridge, they start their, obviously the midweek program starts.
Yeah, Thursday Thunder kicks off.
And then Oxford started this week as well with their midweek program. But then, you know, Beechridge has got their Sports Series 125, which is, you know, they changed things up last year, put a pit stop in it, but that's a race that all them guys want to win. It's the your only long distance race of the year, and it's kind of bragging rights.
Yeah, it is. You know, there was concern about the cars not running big enough fuel cells to go the full 125 lap distance, so they put the mandatory pit stop in there. They come off turn 2, they stay right in line. They don't go back to their pads. They just line up down behind the pit shack, top them off of fuel, send them right back out.
Yeah, Oxford's got wicked good antique racers. You know, they always put on a good show, and now they're starting to get into it. And you know, congratulations, Kyle Treadwell. I mean, you know, he's won a couple of DTs. Now he's won.
Yeah, great.
The Pro Late Model race
at Oxford.
At Oxford,
first season behind the wheel of one of those cars.
Well, second year. Last year, I think he was Rookie of the Year, and you know, Unity, they're kicking off, and you know, they're running on Sundays, so it's your chance if your track runs on Saturday night. Get up there and support Nick Huff and everything that him and his entire staff are trying to do over at Unity. Lee, Friday night, same thing. You run Saturday nights, get down to Lee. I know they had a good crowd for opening night. They got some big shows coming up here pretty quickly. You know, MRS is coming up, Pastor is coming up. So, you know, go to their website, which to me is one of the best websites out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so informative, easy to work your way around, and
you know, one of the common threads that we're hearing with everything getting going in high gear now is everybody seems to be drawing a good crowd, and that's usually a good sign leading into the season. People are getting out to the local racetracks, and it's good to hear that, not just locally here, but everywhere, you know, New Hampshire and everywhere. The people seem to be getting out there.
Now, June 14th, you want to see some Pro Stock racing. If you're in New Hampshire and you want to stay down that way, you go over to Hudson and watch the Granite State Pro Stock Series. Or you go to Bangor and watch the Pro All-Star Series. So, Sunday afternoon. So there's, like I said, those are the things that I encourage people. We have our regular tracks. We're here. Hit it, get that other track.
Yeah.
Let's hit that other track.
Yeah, I took I don't know, 8 or 10 years off from going to other tracks, and then last year I started going more and more, and this year we're going more and more. I'll be in Bangor at 95. I haven't been to Speedway 51 yet, or before when it was Riverside, and I haven't been to Hudson, so I got to get to those places too. But there's a lot out there to choose from right now.
And then the 350 Supers not only run at Lee, but they run at Star. And speaking of that, you saw the video of the wreck last week.
Our man Dave McGuire on the spot.
He is amazing. He never misses a beat, and fortunately no one got hurt. And that was a racing deal. I mean, two guys made contact, open wheels, and that's basically the reason those cars don't run at Beechards, the ISMA cars. You know what I mean? That's Andy's biggest fear. But the catch fence did its job, and the nice part about that is we go to tracks that have been around forever, and the fencing's been there forever, and that's people's concerns. It's a concern after. They don't think about it before. But the only thing that really took it hard was the trash can.
Yeah, if you watch that video in slow motion and slow it down, you can see that everything that was supposed to give and absorb energy did. And the trash can, like you said, the trash can took it hard, and the light pole took it hard, but if you notice, nothing came collapsing down on the grandstand side or on the track side. It all held together.
The safety officials.
And congratulations to them, because that was huge.
Yeah, the safety, the track, they all did a great job, and they worked all diligently all week to get it back together so they could race this past weekend.
Yeah, and from what I understand, everything went off without a hitch. It was all ready to go again.
But it just shows you how things can happen. That's why we encourage these drivers to get the best safety equipment money can buy. Because, maybe it doesn't enhance the performance of your car, you know what I mean, or your Super or your late model, your truck or whatever, but man, when you come to a sudden stop or you take that violent roll or that hit from the side, you want to be safe. And,
you can't take anything for granted when it comes to safety. It doesn't matter if you're going 50 miles an hour on the racetrack or 100 miles an hour on the racetrack. If you hit something that's not moving, it's going to hurt.
Oh, yeah. So there's all kinds of racing going on this week. Don't forget the go-karts, the lawnmowers, all that stuff, And speaking of that, we'll take a break. When we come back, that's what you're going to see is from some race action over the Saco Pathfinders, a place that made me famous.
Yeah, infamous.
Infamous, but no. And
so
really,
I think one of the few times we saw your wife on the racetrack.
Really? Why? What did she do?
Did she come out?
Oh, yeah, that's right. When she marched out there in her high heels and proceeded to end my night. She did what no official dared to do. Shut me down.
Yep.
That was a little out of control.
That was funny, though.
Was it entertaining?
It was definitely entertaining.
All right.
Yes.
So we'll take a break, and we'll be back with some Saco Pathfinders highlights.
It's a night that New England auto racing fans wait for all year, and it's coming to Lee USA Speedway. The Valente Modified Racing Series invades the Lee USA Speedway for one night. The stars and cars of New England's premier modified racing series duke it out on the high banks of Lee USA Speedway and the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. It's all one night, Friday night, June 19th at Lee USA Speedway on Route 125 in Lee, New Hampshire. For more information, go to leeusaspeedway.com.
I did not grow up in the car business. I started as a technician in a small garage, and now lucky enough to own my own dealership. I think buying a new car should be hassle-free with pricing up front. We like to negotiate with everyone the same way. Our goal is for our customers to feel good and make it easy and quick if they so desire. We pay our sales staff to help satisfy your needs, not to collect a traditional commission.
Southern Maine Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Maine's only Viper dealer, Route 1, Saco.
Award season event is going on now.
Hi, this is Scott from Scott's Recreation. You know we're Maine's largest RV dealer, but did you know we're also Maine's largest trailer dealer? We always stock over 100 trailers, including dump, open and enclosed cargo, utility, ATV, side-by-side, open and enclosed car haulers, and more. We stock aluminum, galvanized, and steel trailers. We also stock aluminum horse trailers, including some made right here in Maine. Great prices, great selection, and a no-pressure sales process.
Scott's Recreation, Turner and Manchester, Maine.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Four Seasons Synthetic. See them for all your Amsoil product needs. Town Fair Tire, with 6 locations in Maine. Auburn, Augusta, Bangor, Biddeford, South Portland, and Topsom. Awards and recognition. Your #1 source in New England for all of your award needs.
Nate Key, congratulations. Awesome race you did out here tonight in the sportsman division. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Hall Implement, Timmons Machines, and good friend Todd Keenan and the Keenan families.
Man, what was you thinking of them last few laps? I know that you knew he was right on your back bumper.
Yeah, I just let him bumping around. He'd have to go on the outside. I was going to give it up.
Congratulations to you. Here's your feature winner sticker and your trophy and all that, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, second place, Carl Keaton. Carl, winning, look at the features Carl's won in championships over the years. Congratulations to you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Fastenal, my dad, and my grandfather for helping me out on the pits, everyone that's come and supported me. It was a good race, kept on trying to get him on the outside, but it just wouldn't stick. But it's a good race.
Awesome, great job. Addie McDaniels. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got a young lady here tonight driving, and she is no stranger when it comes to racing. Where else do you race?
I race at Oxford Plains Speedway.
In what division?
The Running Rebels.
The Running Rebels, wow. So anyways, you really like the lawnmower racing too?
Yeah, it's definitely different than Oxford, but it's fun.
Well, congratulations, Joe. Third place win. There's your trophy from TK Power Equipment. And how about giving them all a big hand, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Blake Berry, for winning Junior Cage Kart feature event. There's your sticker for your kart. Here comes your trophy. That is from Peter Pinkham Excavation right here. And awesome job. Any sponsors you want to thank or anybody?
I'd like to thank KFC, Taco Bell, and Saco, Grant's Farm, and all my family.
Congratulations. How about giving a big hand, ladies and gentlemen? Second place over here, Nathan Bath. Nathan, what did you share with me about another track?
I am the current points leader at Richmond Karting Speedway.
Wow, that's awesome. You're really cranking on tonight. What was you thinking them last few laps here tonight?
Well, when that caution came out, I was hoping that I could catch him, but Blake would just seem to be a little bit faster than me.
Well, congratulations, a great job, okay? Also, hey, we got a new guy here, Raymond Bell from Alfred, Maine. And here's your trophy from Peter Pinkham Excavation here. Also, I know I talked to you a little bit earlier, but is there any sponsors you want to thank?
I would like to thank Cash for Cans, Mark Motorsports, Bell's Expert Flooring, and Bell's Racing Team.
Well, congratulations. How about giving these guys a big hand, ladies and gentlemen? Did an awesome job here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Tucker Cole winning the Senior Cage Kart feature event here tonight. There's your sticker for your feature. Congratulations to you. And here's your trophy from Rick and Ray's Engines right here in Buxton. And who would you like to thank, buddy?
Mike and Bob's Mini Mart, Green Master Lawn Care, and the long and short of it.
Congratulations to you, okay? How about giving them a big hand? Spencer Bath. Man, I'll tell you, you put on quite a show here tonight with that kart. Now, you also race some other place, and you're doing great. Where's that?
I race Bartlett Bridge Raceway and Richmond Karting Speedway. I've won 2 races at Richmond and 2 races at Bartlett so far.
You're one busy driver, aren't you, right? Well, congratulations to you, okay? There's your trophy from Rick and Ray's. Michael LeClaire in the number 8. Hey, he's got a fan club over there. Michael, you got your own fan club, huh? What'd you do, pay him off?
Yeah, of course I did.
Congratulations to you. Anybody want to thank?
I definitely got to thank my father, thank my wife and kids for coming out. My aunt and uncle came all the way from Arizona to watch me race. Wow. And definitely thank my grandmother who's sitting in the stands. She came and watch me race tonight.
Well, congratulations to you. And there's your trophy from Rick and Ray's Small Engines. Thank you. Hey, about giving them a big hand, folks. Hey, Corey Souye. Congratulations to you, buddy.
Which one do I grab? Just hold on to them both and look at them go.
One for Mainely Motorsports.
Mainely Motorsports, thank you very much for sponsoring the show tonight. I appreciate everybody that came out here and watched. Keeps the place running. All the guys out here racing, keeps the track going.
Well, congratulations to you. And Jason Kennedy, come on over here. Jason Kennedy winning the Flathead division. Awesome job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Good time.
Well, I'm sure your son's proud of you, you know.
Glad to see the dad out here if the son can't be here. Kennedy's worth racing with.
That's right.
Well, congratulations to you guys. It was an awesome race. Also, let's see, our third place over here is second place, excuse me. That would be Mr. Mike Ramsey. How about putting your hands together? There's your trophy, buddy. Hey, that was an awesome race. Anybody want to thank?
Well, I got to thank Phil Pinkham for coming out here on Friday nights, helping us out. That's why he's driving the 91 in the other class. And I'm sorry about getting the Drew there that last time. I overdrove going in. But the 85 here, I don't know who he is, but he's one hell of a race car driver right here.
He certainly is. That's Jason Rowe, folks. Jason, thank you for being here. There's your trophy. That was an awesome race. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Stoltz Electric and Skill and Service Centers, and the Morse family, and that's it.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, thank you all you fans for coming on out and supporting us here. We really appreciate it. And we got second place, Phil Pinkham.
Yeah.
Phil Pinkham, right? Yes, I got that right. Well, congratulations to you, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Anybody
I
wanna thank?
got to thank Mike and Tanya for letting me drive it in Regina. It's fun coming out here. I have a good time. So.
Well, thank you very much. Like I said, congratulations to you. Thank you.
Race fans, things really heat up on Friday night, June 26th at Lee USA Speedway. It's the Pass 150, the big names of the Pro All-Star Series, in an automotive full-fendered wrestling match on the Third Mile Oval at Lee USA Speedway, plus the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. Friday night, June 26th at Lee USA Speedway on Route 125 in Lee, New Hampshire. Get more information at leeusaSpeedway.com.
Looking for a great time, great people, and great food? Then visit New England's #1 biker destination, Bentley's Saloon, owned by legendary super-modified driver Bentley Warren. Bentley's is a biker bar that welcomes everyone. Staying in the area, Bentley's has their own full-service campground right on site. Tuesdays, Bentley's Cruise Night attracts car enthusiasts from all over New England. Located on Route 1 in Arundel, Bentley's Saloon guarantees a great time. Check out the fun at BentleySaloon.com and see why Bentley says, who has more fun than us?
I just bowled a perfect game. I'm going to Chicago Dogs.
I just got a hole-in-one. I'm going to Chicago Dogs.
You got a lays on your report card. We're going to Chicago Dogs.
Chicago Dogs, voted the state's best hot dog. Bring the entire family and try one of our 12 dog choices, hand-cut fries, cheesesteak, sausages, and a whole lot more. Chicago Dogs, you know you want one.
For the Oxford Plains Dragway, I'm Caleb Lamb with the Week 2 recap for Mainly Motorsports. Week 2, presented by Sunoco, featured 4 divisions duking it out, and the night started off with the Dial In for Dollars event. Dan Brown, in his 1930 Essex Coupe, was able to take home the $200 purse, as his dial-in time was 9/10,000ths of a second better than the time set by Joe Damon in his Plymouth Duster. In the Nostalgia division, the first class to finish up on the night, it was Steven Salo who took home the first place trophy. Steven Salo actually had to buy back in after the first round, but was able to knock off Kirk Asselin in the finals, as Kirk Asselin finished second for the second week in a row. In the modified division, it was Sean Goggenauer piloting his 1981 Iron Horse Ford Mustang, who knocked off the always good at this track Ron Childs in his 1957 Chevy. The sleds and bikes was a showdown between Yamaha and Arctic Cat, as Justin Wood was able to defeat the Gary Cummings machine to take home first place honors. And the final division of the night was the street class, featuring 45 cars, the largest class for the second week in a row. It was the Camaro, piloted by Dan Simpson, who was able to survive the other 44 cars and get the first place trophy. Finishing second also for the second week in a row was the Fox Body Ford Mustang of Jamie Madison, sponsored by Weatherized Northeast. He finishes second, losing out in a very close final battle to finish off the night's action. Week 3, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, will be next Friday on June 12th. Once again, for Oxford Plains Dragway, I'm Caleb Lamb with the Week 2 recap.
New Hampshire was in a very severe situation economically. We were actually in a depression, as was all of New England. In New Hampshire, 5 of our 7 largest banks had closed. The 2 public utilities had gone bankrupt. Housing prices had dropped about 40%. State revenues were down year over year every month. It was a tough time. Things were bleak. And so this fellow walks in, and he's very casual. He's got an open shirt, no tie. He walks in. He's very humble, and he says, he's from Maine, which makes him suspect to begin with. But he says, you know, I just bought the Loudon racetrack, you know, where they run the motorcycle races. And I said, oh, that's great. So I'm going to build a 35,000 seat stadium, and we're going to have a major race car event there. And I said, really? You know, with all the bad news, it was just like the skies had opened and a ray of sunshine had come in. And he did it. He didn't have a race at the time, I don't think. I don't think he'd had a commitment to a race. In fact, I'm pretty sure he didn't. But he built the stadium, and the race came. It was a Field of Dreams event, and he is the classic American story, isn't he? I mean, just that he went out, did what his dream was, and it worked.
I remember the announcement of New Hampshire Motor Speedway being built, and the concept of having a 1-mile racetrack in New England, which seemed enormous, and all the opportunities that were going to come with it, and I was all in. From day one, from the moment I heard the announcement.
New Hampshire's been really an important racetrack to me. It's where I ran the very first race there, a nationwide race, or what's now an Xfinity race. I ran that race. I won my, you know, I won there. I've had a lot of things that are really important. I started my first Cup race there, so you know, New Hampshire is without a doubt been a favorite racetrack of mine. Because of the success I've had there, you know, been able to win a lot of races, and it's been a big part of my career.
When New Hampshire was built, it clearly became part of the NASCAR fraternity. And for years I had heard the Boston market is critical to NASCAR. You know, it's just something I heard over and over and over again, but it didn't have the meaning. I mean, you can say it, somebody had to react, and somebody had to move on it, and that somebody was Bob Baird.
I just remember the first race at New Hampshire was just incredible. There's so many people there, hundreds of thousands of people showed up. It was water cooler talk all over the place, and I remember Bob Baird just did an incredible job putting that place together, and all the competitors just were excited to get there. I know that I went up there and tested and really got prepared, and actually won the race, and it was just a Cinderella day for me.
I don't think I appreciated it. I didn't how big it was. You know, I had not followed closely. You know, I followed a few races, Daytona and things like that, but I hadn't really followed NASCAR racing. And so I didn't appreciate just how huge an event this was, and how many people would be coming into the state to take advantage of seeing the race, and then stay in the state and take advantage of the beauty and the things that the state has to offer. It has been, it was, it is really one of the premier events for New England and for New Hampshire.
People talked about it for so long. It was just a big deal. I mean, I wondered how many people would show up for the race, and when I saw that place, a packed house, and everybody so excited, it was a big deal. It was obviously, it was I say obviously because it wasn't that obvious then, but after I won, it was the wow moment. It was, I can't believe I won this race from starting 33rd, and how big it was, and how many media people were there covering the thing. It was a huge event.
I always remember the first time I went there, and you know, I watched it. At that time, it was what was it, Busch North. I watched that race and watched the modifieds, and then you know, I went to watch the Cup race. I met Jeff Gordon. I thought it was the coolest thing. I still have the picture, and I thought that was so neat. And then you know, few years later, you're racing against them for a win at the same racetrack. I guess it's just crazy, like how life can be sometimes. It just blows my mind.
I was invited to drive the pace car to celebrate 20 years. I underestimated the value of it when I got behind the wheel that morning and when I made a few laps. And then I looked in the mirror and I saw the field kind of towering over me. I was taken aback by it. Like, gosh, if I had a few more races, they would be here, you know? That's how much I missed New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Here we go. One step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need a friend, I got more than on the mind. Sunshine in my brain, making everyone complain. Radio in the heart, don't be being so strange. Think I'm losing it, baby, where have you been? Everybody says that you're moving again. I don't wanna be right, baby, every single night. I could tell you a thing about taking your time. It's making me nervous, yeah. One step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need a friend, I got more than on my mind. Sunshine in my brain, making everyone complain. Radio in the heart, don't be being so strange. Think I'm losing it, it's making me nervous, yeah. One step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need a friend, I got more than on my mind.